Stoke-on-Trent is a city and unitary authority area in Staffordshire, England, with an area of 36 square miles. Together with the neighbouring boroughs of Newcastle-under-Lyme and Staffordshire Moorlands, it is part of North Staffordshire, which, in 2011, had a population of 469,000. Stoke is polycentric, having been formed by a federation of 6 towns in the early 20th century. It took its name from Stoke-upon-Trent, where the town hall and the railway station are located. Hanley is the primary commercial centre. The 4 other towns are Burslem, Tunstall, Longton and Fenton. Stoke-on-Trent is the home of the pottery industry in England and is commonly known as the Potteries. Formerly a primarily industrial conurbation, it is now a centre for service industries and distribution centres. History, toponymy and etymology. The name Stoke is taken from the town of Stoke-upon-Trent, the original ancient parish, with other settlements being chapelries. Stoke derives from the Old English stock, a word that at first meant little more than place, but which subsequently gained more specific, but divergent, connotations. These variant meanings included dairy farm, secondary or dependent place, a farm, summer pasture, crossing place, meeting place and place of worship. It is not known which of these was intended here, and all are plausible. The most frequently suggested interpretations derive from a crossing point on the Roman road that ran from present-day Derby to Chesterton, of the early presence of a church, said to have been founded in 670 AD. Because Stoke was such a common name for a settlement, some kind of distinguishing affix was usually added later, in this case the name of the river. The motto of Stoke-on-Trent is Vis Unita Fortior, which can be translated as, United strength is stronger, or Strength united is the more powerful, or a united force is stronger. Administration. An early proposal for a federation took place in 1888, when an amendment was raised to the local government bill which would have made the 6 towns into districts within a county of Staffordshire. Potteries. It was not until the 1st of April 1910 that the 6 towns were brought together: the county borough of Hanley, the municipal boroughs of Burslem, Longton, and Stoke, together with the urban districts of Tunstall and Fenton, now formed a single county borough of Stoke-on-Trent. The combined borough took the name Town of Stoke. In 1919, the borough proposed to expand further and annex the neighbouring borough of Newcastle-under-Lyme and the Woolstanton United Urban District, both to the west of Stoke. This never took place, due to strong objections from Newcastle Corporation. A further attempt was made in 1930, with the promotion of the Stoke-on-Trent Extension Bill. Ultimately, Woolstanton was instead added to Newcastle-under-Lyme in 1932. Although attempts to take Newcastle, Woolstanton and Kidsgrove were never successful, the borough did expand in 1922, taking in Smallthorne Urban District and parts of other parishes from Stoke-upon-Trent Rural District. The borough was officially granted city status in 1925, with a Lord Mayor from 1928. When the county borough of Stoke-on-Trent initially applied for city status in 1925, citing its importance as the centre of the pottery industry, it was refused by the Home Office as it had fewer than 300,000 inhabitants. The decision was overturned, however, when a direct approach was made to King George V, who agreed that the borough ought to be a city. The public announcement of the elevation to city status was made by the King during a visit to Stoke on 4 June 1925. The county borough was abolished in 1974, and Stoke became a non-metropolitan district of Staffordshire. Its status as a unitary authority was restored on 1 April 1997, although it remains part of the ceremonial county of Staffordshire. For Eurostat purposes, it is a NUTS 3 region. Industry. pottery since the 17th century. The area has been almost exclusively known for its industrial-scale pottery manufacturing. Companies such as Royal Doulton, Dodson Limited, Spode, Wedgwood, Minton and Baker and Amp Co. were established and based there. The local abundance of coal and clay suitable for earthenware production led to the early development of the local pottery industry. The construction of the Trent and Mersey Canal enabled the import of china clay from Cornwall together with other materials and facilitated the production of creamware and bone china. Other production centres in Britain, Europe and worldwide had a considerable lead in the production of high-quality wares. Methodical and highly detailed research and experimentation, carried out over many years, nurtured the development of artistic talent throughout the local community and raised the profile of Staffordshire potteries. This was spearheaded by one man, Josiah Wedgwood, who cut the first sod for the canal in 1766 and erected his Etruria works that year, and later by other local potters such as Thomas Wheeldon, along with scientists and engineers. Josiah Spode introduced bone china at Trent in 1796, and Thomas Minton opened his manufactory. With the industry came a large number of notable 20th-century ceramic artists including Clarice Cliff, Susie Cooper, Charlotte Reed, Frederick Hurton Reed and Jabez Vardry. Coal mining. North Staffordshire was a centre for coal mining. The first reports of coal mining in the area come from the 13th century. The potteries coalfield covers 100 square miles. Striking coal miners in the Hanley and Longton area ignited the nationwide 1842 general strike and its associated pottery riots. When coal mining was nationalised in 1947, about 20,000 men worked in the industry in Stoke-on-Trent. Notable collieries included Hanley Deep Pit, Trentham Super Pit, Fenton Glebe, Silverdale, Victoria, Mossfield, Park Hall, Norton, Chatterley Whitfield and Woolstanton. The industry developed greatly, and new investments in mining projects were planned within the city boundaries as recently as the 1990s. However, 1994 saw the last pit to close as the Trentham Super Pit was shut. The Stoke mining industry set several national and international records. Woolstanton Colliery, when modernised, had the deepest mining shafts in Europe at 3,197 feet. In 1933, Chatterley Whitfield Colliery became the first colliery in the country to mine 1 million tonnes of coal. In the 1980s, Florence Colliery in Longton repeatedly set regional and national production records. In 1992, the combined Trentham Super Pit was the first mine in Europe to produce 2.5 million saleable tons of coal. Today the mines are all closed, though the scars of mining still remain on the landscape. Slag heaps are still visible on the skyline, now covered with flora and fauna. The Chatterley Whitfield site reopened as a museum 2 years after its closure in 1976. The museum closed in 1991 and the site became a local nature reserve. It was declared a scheduled monument by English Heritage in 1993. The abandoned subterranean mines are inaccessible, though they still add complications to many building projects and occasionally cause minor tremors, detectable only by specialized equipment. The Phoenix Trust, an independent not-for-profit foundation, is campaigning to turn Stoke-on-Trent and the wider North Staffordshire coalfield into a World Heritage Site due to its historic economic significance, its leading role in the Industrial Revolution, and as the birthplace of primitive Methodism. Steel. The iron and steel industries occupied important roles in the development of the city, both before and after Federation. Especially notable were those mills located in the valley at Goldendale and Shelton below the hill towns of Tunstall, Burslem and Hanley. Shelton Steelworks production of steel ended in 1978. Instead of producing crude steel, they concentrated on rolling steel billet, which was transported from Scunthorpe by rail. The rolling plant finally closed in 2002. From 1864 to 1927, Stoke housed the repair shops of the North Staffordshire Railway and was the home of independent railway locomotive manufacturers Stewart Namp Co. Limited from 1881 to 1930. Shelton Steelworks and the mining operations were heavily involved in the World War II industrial effort. Central to the RAF's success was the Supermarine Spitfire designed by Reginald Mitchell, who, whilst born at 115 Congleton Road in the nearby village of Butt Lane, had his apprenticeship at Stewart Namp Co. Limited's railway works. The Michelin Tire Company also has a presence in Stoke-on-Trent, and in the 1920s built the first UK plant in the city. In the 1980s, nearly 9,000 workers were employed at the plant. In 2006, about 1,200 worked there. Geography. Stoke-on-Trent is situated about halfway between Manchester and Birmingham and adjoins the town and borough of Newcastle-under-Lyme, which is administered separately and is situated to the west. The city lies on the upper valley of the River Trent at the southwest foothills of the Pennines, ranging from 106 to 213 meters above sea level. The city is considered to be the southernmost end of the Pennines, bounded by the lowlands of the Midlands to the south, including the Cheshire Plain lying west of Newcastle. The Peak District National Park lies directly to the east, and includes part of the Staffordshire Moorlands district, as well as parts of Derbyshire, Greater Manchester and West and South Yorkshire. For Eurostat purposes, it is a NUTS 3 region and is one of 4 counties or unitary districts that compose the Shropshire and Staffordshire NUTS 2 region. Stoke-on-Trent is often known as the City of Five Towns, because of the name given to it by local novelist Arnold Bennett, and is the only polycentric city in the UK. In his novels, Bennett used mostly recognisable aliases for 5 of the 6 towns. However, Bennett said that he believed Five Towns was more euphonious than 6 towns, so he omitted Fenton. As it is a city made up of multiple towns, the city forms a conurbation. The 6 towns run in a rough line from north to south along the A50 road: Tunstall, Burslem, Hanley, Stoke, Fenton and Longton. Although the city is named after the original town of Stoke, and the city council offices are located there, the city centre is usually regarded as being in Hanley, which had earlier developed into a major commercial centre. Suburbs. As well as the 6 towns, there are numerous suburbs including Abbeyhalton, Adley Green, Badley Green, Bentley, Birches Head, Lurton, Bucknell, Braidley, Chell, Cliff Vale, Cobridge, Etruria, Feghays, Hartshill, Heron Cross, Mere Park, Mere Hay, Mere Heath, Middleport, Milton, Normacott, Norton Le Moors, Pencull, Shelton, Smallthorne, Sneyd Green, Trentham, Trent Vale and Weston Coyne. Climate. Stoke-on-Trent, as with all of the United Kingdom, experiences a temperate maritime climate, lacking in weather extremes. The local area is relatively elevated due to its proximity to the Pennines, resulting in cooler temperatures year-round compared to the nearby Cheshire Plain. However, on calm, clear nights this is often reversed as cold air drainage causes a temperature inversion to occur. As such, the Stoke-on-Trent and Newcastle area are generally not susceptible to severe frosts. The nearest Met Office weather station is Keele University, about 4 miles west of the city centre. The absolute high temperature is 32.9 degrees Celsius, recorded in August August 1990, although more typically the average warmest day of the year should be 27.0 degrees Celsius. In total, just under 14 days should report a temperature of 25.1 degrees Celsius or above. The absolute minimum temperature stands at -13.3 degrees Celsius, recorded during January 1963. In an average year, a total of 48.3 air frosts will be registered. Rainfall averages around 806 mm a year. Demography. Based on the 2001 census, the total population of the city was 240,636 in 103,196 households. This was a decline of 3.5% since 1991. 51.3% of the population is female. 96.3% of the population of Stoke-on-Trent were born in the UK. 94.8% of the population identified themselves as white. 2.6% is Asian British Pakistani, 0.5% Asian British Indian, and 0.3% as Black Afro-Caribbean. Regarding religion, 74.7% described themselves as Christian, 3.2% Muslim, and 13.4% had no religion. In the same census, 19.9% were identified as under 15, 21.0% were over 60. The average age of residents was 38.5. A total of 24.2% of non-pensioner households were recorded as having no working adults. In 2011, the population had increased to 249,000. It is the first time that the city's population has grown since it peaked at 276,639 in 1931. Points of interest. The city's ceramics collection is housed in the Potteries Museum and Art Gallery in Hanley, Etruria Industrial Museum on the Calden Canal, and Gladstone Pottery Museum in a former pot bank in Longton are dedicated to the city's industrial heritage. Ceramica in Burslem used to be an interactive ceramics museum, but it closed in 2011 due to council funding cuts. Most of the major pottery companies based in Stoke-on-Trent have factory shops and visitor centres. The £10 million Wedgwood Museum Visitor Centre opened in the firm's factory in Barlaston in October 2008. The Dudson Centre in Hanley is a museum of the family ceramics business, which is partly housed in a Grade II listed bottle kiln. It is also a volunteer centre. Burley in Middleport is the world's oldest working Victorian pottery. There are also smaller factory shops, such as Royal Stafford in Burslem, Moorcroft in Cobridge, and Emma Bridgewater in Hanley. In addition, there are ambitious plans to open the huge Chatterley Whitfield Colliery as a mining museum, since it has been given scheduled monument status. The Elizabethan Ford Green Hall is a 17th-century farmhouse which is now a historic house museum in Smallthorne. Many local people consider Trentham Gardens to be in Stoke-on-Trent, but it is actually in the borough of Stafford. It is just south of the city, and a £100 million refurbishment was completed in 2005. Next door is Trentham Monkey Forest, which houses 140 Barbary macaques in a 60-acre enclosure that visitors can walk through. The Alton Towers Resort is 10 miles east of Stoke-on-Trent and is one of the United Kingdom's best-known attractions. The Waterworld indoor swimming complex on Festival Park near Hanley is also a significant children's attraction. Each of the 6 towns in Stoke-on-Trent has at least one park. At 9 hectares, Burslem Park is one of the largest registered Victorian parks in the UK. Park Hall Country Park in Western Coyne is a national nature reserve, and its sandstone canyons are a site of special scientific interest. Hartshill Park in Stoke is also a nature reserve, and Bucknell Park is home to the City Farm. Westport Lake in Longport is the largest body of water in Stoke-on-Trent and has a nature reserve. Economy. Stoke-on-Trent is a world centre for fine ceramics. A skilled design trade has existed in the area since at least the 12th century, but in the late 1980s and 1990s Stoke-on-Trent was hit hard by the general decline in the British manufacturing sector. Numerous factories, steelworks, collieries, and potteries were closed, including the renowned Shelton Bar Steelworks. This resulted in a sharp rise in unemployment in the high-skilled but low-paid workforce. The pottery firm Wedgwood and its subsidiary Royal Doulton are based in nearby Barlaston, although much production now takes place in the firm's Indonesian factory. Portmeirion is based in Stoke Town, and now owns the Spode and Royal Worcester ceramics brands. Ceramics firm Emma Bridgewater is based in Hanley. Burley Pottery is in Middleport. Wade Ceramics is in Etruria. Moorcroft and Royal Stafford are based in Burslem. Ainsley China is in Longton, and is one of the last remaining manufacturers of bone china in the city. Fine china manufacturer Dudson have premises in Hanley and Burslem. Churchill China have the main factory in Tunstall, while hotelware manufacturer Steelite is based in Middleport at the former Dunbennett site. About 9,000 firms are based in the city. Amongst the more notable are Bet 365, founded by local businessman and Stoke City chairman Peter Coates, and Phones4U, a large retailer of mobile phones started by John Cordwell. The Michelin Tire Company has a complex in the city which houses its commercial head office, training centre and a truck tire retreading facility. Sainsbury's supermarket and the cooperative pharmacy have large warehouses in the city. Vodafone has a large call centre on Festival Park, and the UK subsidiary of the lubricant manufacturer Fuchs Petroleum has its head office at its factory in Hanley. There is a steel foundry owned by Goodwin Steel Castings Limited in Joyner Square. Premier Foods make Mr. Kipling slices and Cherry Bakewells in Trent Vale. The cooperative Travel had its head office in Burslem before it merged with Thomas Cook in 2010. Stoke-on-Trent City Council is the city's largest single employer. Another major employer is the Royal Stoke University Hospital, with over 7,000 staff. KPMG's Competitive Alternatives 2004 report declared Stoke-on-Trent to be the most cost-effective place to set up a new UK business. The city currently has the advantage of offering affordable business property, while being surrounded by a belt of affluent areas such as the Peak District, Stone, South Cheshire, and having excellent road links via the A500 and nearby M6 and rail links. Tourism to the city was kick-started by the National Garden Festival in 1986, and is now sustained by the many pottery factory shops and tours, and by the improved canal network. The main shopping centre is the Potteries Shopping Centre in Hanley, which has 561,000 square feet of retail space with 87 units including a Debenhams anchor store, and major stores for Next, New Look, Monsoon, Gap, HMV, River Island, H. Samuel, Licenza, Superdrug, Topshop, Topman and Burton, Marks and Amp, Spencer, BHS&T. Max also have stores in Hanley. A new shopping centre on the site of Hanley's former bus station was due to open in 2016, but development has been delayed and the project is now in doubt. The other 5 towns of the city all have their own smaller town centres. Festival Park is a large retail and business park in Etruria, built on the former Garden Festival site. There are also retail parks in Tunstall, Fenton and Longton. A new retail park is being built in Longton. Other notable business people from the city include Reginald H. Jones, venture capitalist John Moulton, and John Medeski. Nighttime industry has boomed in recent years, with Hanley becoming increasingly popular for its nightclubs, theatres, pubs, bars and restaurants. Government. The city is covered by 3 House of Commons constituencies: Stoke-on-Trent North, Stoke-on-Trent Central and Stoke-on-Trent South. All 3 have returned Labour MPs without interruption since their creation in 1950. The city is within the West Midlands European Parliament constituency. Mayoral system. The city was one of a limited number of English districts with an elected mayor and the only council to use the mayor and council manager executive arrangements, although it was removed following a local referendum on the 23rd of October 2008. A local referendum approved a directly elected mayor system on the 3rd of May 2002 by 28,601 votes to 20,578. Meg Wolf, an independent candidate, became the first directly elected mayor after an election on the 17th of October 2002, narrowly beating Labour Party candidate George Stevenson by just 300 votes. The elected mayor from the 5th of May 2005 to the 5th of June 2009 was Mark Meredith. The 2005 election was notable because about 10% of the ballot papers were either spoiled or ineligible. Meredith's election platform included a pledge to have another referendum on the post of elected mayor. This was scheduled for May 2007 and resulted in the abolition of the mayoral system. On the 23rd of October 2008, voters returned to the polls to choose between modifying the system or abolishing the position of elected mayor. Votes were 21,231 for abolition and 14,592 for modification on a turnout of 19.23%. Leader and cabinet system. Following a citywide referendum abolishing the position of elected mayor, a leader and cabinet system was adopted on the 5th of June 2009. The leader of the council is elected by councillors. Each cabinet member makes the decisions on the portfolio area and explains the decisions at the monthly cabinet meetings. The current leader of the council is Councillor Dave Conway, who is also leader of the City Independence Group, one of the parties that forms the city's coalition administration. List of former council leaders. Lord Mayor. The position of Lord Mayor is largely ceremonial. The title of Lord Mayor was first conferred on the city of Stoke-on-Trent by King George V on the 10th of July 1928. The role of Lord Mayor is decided upon by a vote amongst the elected councillors. The candidates are also selected from the councillors. The current Lord Mayor is Councillor Majid Khan. Between 1910 and 1928, the borough, and later, city of Stoke-on-Trent had a mayor rather than a Lord Mayor. The first mayor of Stoke-on-Trent was Cecil Wedgwood of the Wedgwood Pottery dynasty. Council. In May 2011, the electoral map of the city changed from a council of 60 members representing 20 wards with 3 councillors each. The size of the council was reduced to 44 councillors representing 37 wards. The change followed a 2008 report by the Stoke-on-Trent Governance Commission to the Secretary of State for Local Government that was highly critical of the political system then in use. use in the city. Following the local elections in May 2015, the Labour Council in Stoke-on-Trent was replaced by an independent, conservative UKIP coalition. The political composition of Stoke-on-Trent City Council is currently as follows: Public services. The city's acute hospital is the Royal Stoke University Hospital, run by the University Hospitals of North Midlands NHS Trust. It comprises two sites, the Royal Infirmary and the City General. The hospital is being rebuilt on the City General site, which is located on the A34, London Road. Community health services are run by Staffordshire and Stoke-on-Trent Partnership NHS Trust, with mental health services provided by North Staffordshire Combined Healthcare NHS Trust. Policing in Stoke-on-Trent is provided by Staffordshire Police, which has police stations in Hanley, Bucknell, Burslem, Longton, Stoke and Tunstall. Stoke-on-Trent Crown Court and Stoke-on-Trent County Court share a building in Hanley. There is no magistrates' court. It was situated in the old town hall in Fenton but closed in 2012. All magistrates' proceedings now take place in Newcastle. Statutory emergency fire and rescue service is provided by the Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service, which has fire stations in Hanley, Longton, Burslem and Sandyford. Severn-Trent manages Stoke-on-Trent's drinking and wastewater. The city's main library is the City Central Library in Hanley, which is also home to the city's archives. The City Council operates 8 smaller libraries throughout the city. The council also operates 16 children's centres, 9 local service centres and 5 one-stop shops for council services.